Welcome to the Three Path Profits podcast, where we'll talk about business, finance, social media, and everything in between on our paths to profit. Three different people, three different side hustles, one common goal profit. My name is Kyle,
My name is Lexi.
My name is Amanda.
and we're your hosts. To set the proper expectation for today's episode, our format will be as follows. First, we'll hear from Lexi, who will talk about everything related to her Etsy shop. Then we'll hear about Kyle, who will teach us all things investing. Last up, we'll hear from Amanda, who will go over the latest in the social media world. Let's dive in with Lexi.
Okay, so just on my Etsy stats, I'm going to kind of start by going over my stats first rather than last, kind of how Amanda does. So the last 7 days, I had 12 views, 10 visits, and 0 orders. The last 30 days, I had 96 views, 41 visits, and 1 order. Kind of touching on what we were talking about last week. I think I'm going to focus a lot on the process and strategy more rather than revenue right now, just on with the Adobe Photoshop Express, uploading a bunch of different things I can make, kind of going off of what fonts I could use, what your shirt could look like, having insert text here or kind of whatever based off of that, just so it's, again, I'm not buying a bunch of things, but I'm also showing and still progressively adding things to my shop as well. I did start to make some items this past week since we were on, and just some of the things weren't coming out how I wanted. So I definitely want to kind of watch some YouTube videos or kind of deep dive into what the issue is there. I know I was kind of already Googling some of the things and it wasn't giving me the answers I wanted. So I was getting very frustrated, but I took a little break and just kind of, I'm going to restart this week and try to figure out what the issues are there and figure out really how I can get it exactly how I want. So I'm just going to try to see exactly perfecting the things I'm already doing. So I just want to kind of be able to perfect any of the shirts that I'm making, perfect any of the vinyl things that I'm doing, and really be able to see how I can do all of those if I were to get a big order and make sure that they all come out exactly how I want. I also have been making some items for a baby shower, which is one of my family members. I'm going to be doing a welcome sign for that. I did make the onesie, and I'm also making another onesie for a family member to give to that individual as well. So it's kind of nice that this is coming up just because I'm being able to kind of dive into different things and also be able to have those items and post them to my shop as well. So I haven't really looked into the Etsy premium and Etsy ads like we were talking about last week either, but I think for now I'm just going to put that on the back burner while I do focus on like process and strategy and promotion now on just items that I can make instead of purchasing another thing and worrying about that at the moment. I'm just really going to use my TikTok and Instagram to promote what I have, and then also just keep posting with the Adobe Photoshop Express just to kind of show what I can make again. So I guess the goals coming up are I also need to edit the video of me making the t-shirts to post, which I had talked about last week. I just hadn't gotten time to do it this past week. I want to continue just to make items using the Adobe Photoshop Express, promote items on my TikTok and Instagram, and just kind of keep pushing along with figuring out how to make everything exactly how I want rather than just kind of putting something up and hoping that it turns out.
I have more of a comment than a question, and it actually comes from listening back to episode 3 that we posted this past week. It's funny how now that we're actually posting them to like listen back and hear what we talked about
Yeah.
a couple months ago. And while I was listening to it, we were talking about you doing giveaways and stuff. And I feel like you could be doing giveaways that would benefit you better in different ways. Like instead of just giving a product to someone that you know to promote it, I feel like you should run an actual giveaway where, like you're saying, I'll make this bookmark for 5 winners and you have to do X, Y, and Z in order to be entered into the giveaway. You have to follow your TikTok, you have to follow your Instagram, and you have to like your shop on Etsy.
Yeah.
Like there's certain criteria that has to be met, and then they have to post it. One of the criteria, they have to post it on their social media so that lots of other people are being exposed to your page. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the what you need to do to how to enter type things.
Right.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
It's a good
And-
idea, Amanda.
Yeah, I love
Thanks.
that.
And you already have more bookmarks, right? Like the bookmark is what I thought of as an easy.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely a small, easy item to be able to make
Yeah.
bulk and kind of go from there. And then if someone does win, I can just be like, hey, what would you like on it?
Right.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
That's all I got.
My question goes along with that. I wrote down, are you ready for a big order? If you did get an order for like 100 bookmarks, what would the turnaround look like? And would you be ready for an order like that? Or even bigger, like if it was like something bigger for like a wedding?
I would say, yeah, I'm definitely ready. I have obviously the Cricut, which is the tools to do it, and just being able to run to Michael's or run to Joann's or whoever has the vinyl to be able to do it that way. I mean, I think it
Do you have the time? How long would it take you to make 100 of the bookmarks that you made for me and Amanda?
bookmarks probably 2-3 hours, depending on if I
To make
had
100?
yeah, if I had everything to do it right then and there, yeah, it would be very quick just because with something of that size and also like you can only make it as big as the bookmark is. And the bookmark's only like 5 inches by like 2 inches. Something around that dimension. I can't remember exactly. But I mean, you don't need to use that much vinyl. It's not that hard to weed out the vinyl and put the vinyl on whenever you have it. It's just the fact of making sure I have everything already here.
Okay, like you tell me to talk dummy stocks and shit. You need to talk dummy cricket. I don't know what it means to weed out vinyl.
Cricut for dummies.
You know what I mean?
So
What does that mean? Weed out the vinyl. So what are you doing in that process?
so essentially I'll just kind of go like
Because I think it's really cool because this process is part of the process for you,
yeah.
like perfecting that craft, right? Like that is part of the art,
Yeah, I guess I never really
right?
like thought about like talking about like how to do it from start to finish. But so I'll just kind of go over a very simple start to finish for you. So you go to the store, you buy a type of vinyl. Once you have that type of vinyl, you go into the Cricut app, either on your computer or on your phone, and then you come up with whatever design you want based on the font. You can upload pictures. They have editable pictures that you can use.
So is that what you're doing in Adobe Photoshop then?
Similar. I'm taking I'm taking a picture of a t-shirt and then I'm making something on Cricut and then I'm putting it on that t-shirt to show exactly what it could look like on that t-shirt. I'm blending the two together on Adobe Photoshop to make it look like I
Okay.
made the item.
The Cricut
Got it.
software, the
Got it.
Cricut software is just the design that actually goes on the t-shirt. Adobe Photoshop is to show like
It's
whatever
to
the
merge the
object
two.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's to be able to blend them together to have them look as one as if I had done it.
Gotcha.
So once you have whatever you want on your object, whether it be a bookmark, a shirt, a sign, whatever, then you have to work with the Cricut to be able to put the vinyl in. The Cricut does all the work on making sure everything is cut out, whether it be etched, cut, anything that depending on whatever tool or whatever you're using. But with vinyl, it's just cut. Then it comes out of the Cricut. You have to peel away the excess vinyl, which is weeding, on what items you don't want on your final
So
product.
while it's doing its thing, you have to monitor it, and that's what you're talking about by weeding it
No, the
as
weeding.
it.
So while it's cutting it, you don't have to do anything. Once it comes out and you have your big sheet of vinyl, and say you have just like a 2 inch by 2 inch cutout, you have to cut.
And that's all that you're gonna use.
Yeah.
So you have to cut that out.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
basically so Lex, get out the tools and show him. It's basically like a tool that kind of looks like something at the dentist where they like dig in your teeth. You use
Yeah.
that to kind of carve out the design that the Cricut already cut. You just need to pull away the piece of the vinyl that you're not actually
So,
using in the
as an
design.
example with Amanda's logo, so say this is what I was cutting out and this is what the Cricut was making, and I wanted the Cookin and Depot to stay, I would have to weed
Mhm.
out all of the background. So I have to take this vinyl off.
And you can do that?
Yes.
Well, yeah, because the Cricut cuts like the
Everything for you.
design of the letters, like it outlines them.
Yeah, so the Cricut does all the
It
cutting.
can.
You just
Yeah.
have to take everything excess that you don't want on your final product off.
Hmm.
So then once you're done weeding and getting everything off that you want,
Yeah, we need a demo video upload to Instagram so that I
Well, that's
can
what she's
go
doing
with
this
it.
week. That she'll have one.
yeah, I'll have one.
Yeah.
But once you're done with the weeding, then they have what's called a transfer paper, and you put the transfer paper on it, and then you use that transfer paper to line it up exactly on your.
Is that like the transfer paper we use in art class?
Transfer paper is just
Kind of.
like sticky clear, basically, that it sticks to so you
Yeah.
can place it in the right spot.
But yeah, so
Yeah,
obviously
we
it's
used in
gonna
art
be
class. I remember that stuff.
it'll be a little different with my video that I'm going to be posting because it's gonna be the iron-on and it's not vinyl. So I'm not gonna be using the transfer paper with that because the iron-on comes out in a mirrored view. So that once you're done weeding it, you just put it on your shirt and then you just iron it on that way.
Oh, okay. So you have to put it on backwards, right?
So it like
You iron it on.
yeah, so it already comes out cut backwards. You have to make sure that you tell the Cricut I want it to be mirrored so that when you put it on the shirt, obviously.
So how do you get the other kind on the shirt if you're not doing the iron on?
So
Well, the other stuff that we were talking about wouldn't be on the t-shirt. It would be on like a bookmark that's like a plasticky
you
or like a
can
different.
use
Okay.
well, remember
Okay,
Amanda, you
okay.
can use the printable vinyl on t-shirts. It's a printable iron-on. That's how you get someone's exact logo that they want to a T. That was what I did at first with yours, Amanda, but it just didn't work with it being black on gray.
Mm.
So you
Mhm.
can
Oh,
do it,
yes. I know what you're talking about.
you
Yeah.
can
Mhm.
do it that way, but it's obviously a lot harder because it doesn't come out as the mirrored version. It comes out as the regular version, and you have to set it up on that shirt to be exactly how
Yeah.
it was if it's not all in one piece.
There's so many options that you can do.
Yeah,
Truly.
that's why like whenever even when I said in the beginning, it's very much unlimited on what I can do with it. It's because there genuinely is so many things that you can do.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the video. I think that'll be cool. I think that'll go into like what you're talking about too, of like trying to perfect your process and like just really showing how it's done.
Yeah.
I think will be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to finally edit it and post it.
All right, I guess I'm up. So, got a little bit of a portfolio update here, like usual. We're 1.5 months in. It is hard to believe looking back on all the episodes, doing like the editing process of getting the episodes ready to upload during the week. It's just so funny to see how much everything's changed. Some things are exactly what we thought, and it's fun to look back, and it doesn't seem like it's been that long yet since
Well,
even we've been
truly,
back at it.
it's been 5 months since we actually started. We
know.
Yeah.
started February
it's crazy.
21st or 22nd, something like that.
Yep. Yeah, just looking at the dates, it was wild to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, portfolio update through that 1.5 months in action for the portfolio itself. Started with $1,000. We are now up to $1,094.18.
Hell yeah.
Heck
So
yeah.
9.42% return. It actually did peak today at the close of the market. It is at a current all-time high again. It was last week as well. Had a killer week. We were up 1.36% versus the S&P was down 0.23%, mainly because the S&P was pretty much beating my portfolio for most of the week, but the last day here was really rough. Most of the market was down pretty heavy today. But my portfolio was not. So the S&P was down and mine was up. So it was a good week. But overall, I changed the best performers and worst performers of the week to be cumulative rather than biweekly. So the best performers in the portfolio so far is Ford, and it has a striking 23.7% return already in that 1.5 months. And then Blackstone Mortgage Trust with a 16.3% return in that amount of time. Both very good numbers. Worst performers in that amount of time is the VYM is up 4.67%. So that's the second worst performing in the portfolio, is up 4.67%. That's lets you know that the entire market has been doing really well. Knowing that the whole portfolio is up at least that much is a really good thing. But the second worst the worst performer is Kraft Heinz. It's been down 3.5%. Just been trending around that same price area, but still hopeful for a bounce back there. But as we continue into a dividend update this past week, Blackstone dividend did come across. This is one of our bigger dividends. Almost 6 shares gets me 62 cents a share each, $3.69 dividend. That is nice to come across. That was the only one of the week for that to be the total, bringing the total year-to-date dividends to $8.97. Total cash in the portfolio is $9.09. Dividend reinvestment is still off. Still going to use that cash flow to reinvest strategically. I do love Snapchat right now. They just went down 10% today amongst the market sell-off. Earnings coming up August 1st. Forecast and estimate revisions are up. Just the sentiment and the whispers around the name heading into the earnings is positive. And it's just anytime there's this much buildup of analysts revising their forecasts higher, it's because they know something's up and they were wrong to start with and they're covering their behinds. And it usually leads to an even outsized beat after the revisions. So looking for a big beat from them in a couple weeks here. Not adding to them yet, just considering them as a strategic option for the portfolio. And they have earnings coming up. That's part of the analysis there. But that is a good segue into the earnings report update for the week. Bank of America did report yesterday. They reported earnings. They beat by $200 million. They reported earnings of $25.4 billion in the quarter. That is up 0.8% year over year. So last year versus this year in the same quarter, they're up about 1%. So that means they're growing. And when you look at it in a nominal number, they were up by 200 million. That's pretty good. Even though it's only a 0.8% number, that looks low, they're still growing and they still beat the estimate pretty handily. EPS was the same way. Earnings per share of 83 cents. Street was expecting 80 cents. So just a steady increase beat there across the board. The provision for credit losses went up as well. That went up even with the beats. So that's what I noted there of their forecasting and insuring for themselves against riskier parts of their assets or their portfolio, putting away provisions, and they're still putting up good numbers as well while they're doing that. So that's just a good thing to see. And then the estimate for next quarter's revenue was solid as well, estimating 25.71 billion for the next quarter. That's pretty much in line with the expectations. And if they deliver on that, all is well. And I think the stock is about where it should be. Overall, they beat on earnings pretty much across the board. It was a good earnings call. Everything went well. Nothing really changed on the outlook per se. Their net interest income should improve as the Fed pivots, interest rates come down. That should improve. The only thing to note with them right now is that they're trading at all-time highs. So their report went well. The report card, as I've made the analogy, comes back good. Everything looks good. You got all A's, but it's still trading at all-time highs, which means it's as expensive as it has ever been to buy it. That being said, I still think it's a good stock to own. I would love it if it was at like $35 a share with a 10 PE rather than where it is now. It's at like $42 a share and a PE of north of 13. That's because each week it's just week over week going to new highs and new highs that stretches that PE and just makes it become more expensive.
What is
But it's
PE?
because it's had the price to earnings ratio. So that's basically saying how much you're paying for how much the company earns and your share in those earnings. So a price per share divided by the earnings per share gets you a PE ratio.
Mm.
So last week you were paying $12.83 for earnings of Bank of America. This week you have to pay $13.69 for the earnings of Bank of America for your share. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing good, but it's still expensive to buy in here at this position. That's why my portfolio is up, because the prices keep going up. But overall, it was a good report. So micro update, none really, because I did the earnings report for Bank of America. That'll kind of substitute there. Do have a couple earnings reports next week to go over as well. On a micro note, Ford is up 23% already on the position, like we talked about in the beginning, and it does have a risky dividend. I am considering trimming and selling some of this just to take some profit and get some more liquidity in the portfolio. And same thing with Blackstone. I mean, both of them being up that much, double digits in the first month, not a bad idea not to sell a little bit, take some profit, get some liquidity in the portfolio just to see if any opportunities like today, big market downturn, there's some opportunities in the market for some buying. So considering doing that with the cash, haven't decided if anything's going to happen over the next week, but we'll update next week regardless. So
I have a quick question and a comment for you.
shoot.
One, my comment is I was laughing when you said you love Snap right now because you always love Snap. That's never changing. And two,
Fair. A true bull. A true bull.
my question is you have your cash at what, like $9 and something right now in your account. Are you waiting until that hits a certain dollar amount before you reinvest? What is your
You
plan?
asked this last week, I think.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, I don't
I think it
remember
was.
my.
Maybe it was Lexi.
I think someone answered a similar or asked a similar question. I don't think it was exactly.
No, one of you asked me that exact question, and I said no. It might have been even in one of the first episodes. Actually, I might remember it from editing. But the answer is no, because no, it wouldn't have been that early on because I wasn't doing dividend investing yet.
What are you waiting for with the money just sitting there? Like, when are you going to reinvest it?
So the answer is I don't have enough conviction bias in any of the names to reallocate that funds to yet, based on where the portfolio is balanced. Because I'm considering selling some of the Ford and Blackstone position because they're up a good bit in the past month. That decision is going to impact what I do with the rest of it. I haven't made a strategic decision for that cash yet. So there just hasn't been a decision made.
Which kind of going off of that, since you're talking about Ford and Blackstone being up, how much of those are you going to want to sell? Like, is there a specific amount you want to sell of them so that how much liquidity you have?
Not much, and no, it would just be a trimming. I mean, I love Blackstone. It's probably my favorite name in this portfolio. It's shot up very quickly. It's up 16% in the past month. So when it does that, you can be a little greedy and uh, take a little grain of salt and take a little profit off the table. Same thing with Ford. I love Ford as well. I think as an EV play stands, Ford is as good as the next. I think they're in a good spot being in the second place to Tesla. I think Ford and Tesla can be like a Coke and Pepsi. They can coexist very well with one another, and Ford's EV business can thrive while Tesla's does. And them being in the second place gives them a lot of market share to take. And I like Ford long term. They've just been on a tear. They're up 23% in the past month and a half, and even more than that over the past 6 months. Just getting a little expensive. They're at their highs, might trim a little bit. Haven't decided on the timing. So overall, that'll impact the decision on what I'm gonna do with the rest of the cash because it's all connected, right? So I'm deciding what I'm doing with the overall portfolio is in consideration with that cash. Macro and current event updates. Trump getting shot. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Did you guys see that? What are your thoughts? It's right in our backyard, Butler, Pennsylvania. Mine and Amanda's mom lives 15 minutes away from there, and it's in our home state. What are
Yeah.
your guys'
I mean,
thoughts?
I was literally 5 minutes from the fairgrounds when it happened. We were sitting in the pool. Next thing you know, we saw cops fly by the house, and we went immediately on Butler radio, and they were like, shots fired at the rally, and it was insane. I think it was, I mean, scary, especially because I knew people there. And obviously, I knew if shots were fired, someone was injured, whether it was Trump or a spectator. And obviously, a spectator was killed, which is horrible.
Mhm.
I think it's not to get too political in it. I think overall it's a horrible thing, and I feel really sorry for the family because I cannot believe that they went to just do something that they enjoyed and were passionate in, and it was a horrible event for them.
It's crazy. And of all places, I mean, Butler is such a small. I don't even know how he ended up going to Butler, period. Like,
Yeah, I
why?
didn't even know he was coming to Butler.
I knew he was coming because when I was home, mom and Paul actually talked about going.
Yeah.
But there was something else that weekend too, a car show or something that I think they decided that they were going to do instead.
That's
Um,
crazy. Imagine them being there.
yeah, well, I thought it like I didn't even believe it. Julie texted me and was like,
I know.
"Trump's
I thought it
shot,"
was fake.
and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And then I turned on the news and it was everywhere. I'm like, "Holy shit!" And I was with a couple of friends when it happened, and we were all talking like, however many years from now, people are gonna be like, "Where were you when
Yeah.
Trump
When
got
Trump got
shot?" And
shot. Yeah.
you're gonna remember, like, same how people remember exactly where they were when they found out about 9/11. You know,
Yeah.
it's
I was
crazy, and
sitting right here.
they're
Yeah, I was sitting right where I am right now. I thought it was all fake. I was watching it all unfold.
and
It was
how it
absolutely crazy.
just happened to skim his ear. He's so unbelievably lucky.
I
Yeah,
saw
and like I
If
know
it
you're a
wasn't,
little bit of a conspiracy theorist, Amanda, so I'll get your juices going here a little bit. It's almost like so picture perfect and almost cinematic how the bullet grazed his ear, splatters blood on his face. He falls to the ground. Secret Service swarms. He gets up, fist out, screaming fight to the crowd. Totally okay. Fully shot with a bullet, but just grazing him. The impact and the cinematic feeling of that being so like, am I what is this real? It
that
had to
that
lead you to think this
the
looks too fake to be real.
I don't disagree with you. That picture of him fisting up in the air is going to go down in history. I already have ads all over my social media with it on t-shirts and
For
stuff.
sure.
And you're right, I do tend to be a little bit of a conspiracy theorist. I if anything lean the other way in conspiracy though, like
Like
that
somebody on the other side was trying to kill him.
let it happen. Yeah, because I've seen a lot of videos surfacing online talking about how people watched him get up. They were telling the police and they like still didn't
Oh
get him
yeah.
in time.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I
Mhm.
was talking with so many people, like law enforcement included, and I saw like obviously a lot of people posting about how they didn't have that roof already covered prior to the
Mhm.
debate when that
Right.
is quite literally
Sure.
their
It
job.
was like the only
Um,
other roof.
yeah,
It was like the only other
yeah,
roof
for them to
near the
come
stage.
in and scout every possible location and you just so happen to miss the one that was direct line of sight to where he would stand.
Yeah.
Inexplicable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was messed up. And like I'm also not saying, by the way, with me painting that picture that I think Trump staged it to get himself shot just to try to win the election. But I just thought it was uncanny how like I felt like I was watching
It
a
is
movie.
crazy.
Like it
Yeah.
felt fictional. It just
Yeah.
was.
Well, and the
And then
video.
like he's at the convention and like they're playing proud to be an American and like it's so emotional. It seems so like unreal.
And I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys saw the video, but like they showed exactly like if he didn't move where the bullet like would have hit him and it was exactly
Yeah, and it
spot.
would have killed him
Yes,
100%.
100%. I
And that's what I mean. Like I don't
yeah,
think he would ever risk his life just to win the
yeah,
presidency. So
For
like
sure.
I
Yeah.
don't think there's any validity
yeah.
to it, but I just think it's funny and I wanted to bring it up. And before we go down too much of a rabbit
Yeah.
hole on that, we'll put a pin in it, but I wanted to bring it up and see what your guys' thoughts were. But next
It's
on my list,
wait, I have one more thing that I want to say. It's funny. I can't wait until we post this episode to see what evolves between
what
now and then
transpired
because
for sure.
it'll be like 2 months from now.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
Well, prediction here. I think Trump wins the race because of this, and I also believe Biden drops out. I'm very apolitical. I'm not registered on either side. I do not vote for either side, but that is my prediction, and those are my thoughts.
Next subject.
Okay. Next on the list here is just the Caitlin Clark effect. I have in the background the Indiana Fever Dallas game just because Caitlin Clark's playing. I pretty much keep a tab on the WNBA specifically to see when she's playing a big game. I try to watch a lot of her games, and it's insane. The stats that she brings, she fills arenas. It's every place that she goes, it's a sellout. The the viewership on TV, it's a sellout. And not only does she have a lot of hype, she backs it up. Like her numbers are crazy. She's playing really good. It's just insane to see the WNBA start to have their takeoff. And my thought on it is, do you guys think the WNBA can get to a NBA level, and can Caitlin Clark be like a Michael Jordan or a Magic Johnson where that she really takes the game to the next level for them?
Well, I mean,
Simple answer, no.
yeah, but I mean the only reason I really have heard of the WNBA like recently or even to make it relative in my life is because of her.
Yeah,
I haven't heard anything about her, to be honest. I don't even know who you're talking about.
I've talked to you about her.
Which is so
That's fair.
awful because I have played basketball my entire life up through
No, but it's fine. I mean, you're not the abnormal. Like most people don't watch the WNBA. Most people I would say still don't know who Caitlin Clark is, but it's a growing majority. It's a growing minority now, and people are raising their eyebrows. And let's put it this way. the WNBA might not be losing money very much longer, because right now they
I
are
hope
losing.
so. I hope so, honestly, because it sucks for those women who are just as highly skilled as males in their own profession. You know what I mean? Like they're the best basketball players, just like all the males are the best basketball players in the NBA.
Yeah,
And the
comparatively,
pay
skill
difference,
level, yeah,
yeah. Yeah, and so like I think those girls do deserve to get paid more, and I understand why they're not, because they don't bring in the revenue. I get that, but like I hope
mhm,
they do start to bring in the revenue so that they can be paid more.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's just exciting, the Caitlin Clark effect, because she is already starting to have that effect. They're all flying charter flights now. They all used to fly private. A lot of like developments have already happened because of her, and all of their salaries are going to skyrocket because of her.
I
The
hope. Yeah.
television rights to watch her play are going to skyrocket, and all of the players will benefit. So that will take effect. But 53-61, Indiana Fever's losing right now. Let's hope for the comeback. So next on the list is just a rotation play. Just wanted to mention this as a general macro theme right now. That's kind of what happened today in the market. The sentiment is shifting away from the tech and growth names of like the Nvidias, the Metas, the Amazons, to like value names, like a lot of the names in my portfolio, like a Prudential, like a Bank of America, a lot of financials, industrials, like those. Um, Not as like sexy names that aren't, they don't have the growth prospects that a lot of the tech or the high flying ones do, but they have good balance sheets. They have strong fundamentals. They have good cash flows, and they have solid valuations. They're trading at the cheaper PE ratio, like you asked about, Amanda. So their earnings are cheaper to buy or invest in than the growth stocks, because they're not supposed to grow as much. But you still have to put value on those. And that's always a supply and demand mm, dynamic. So watching that play out today is what you have to realize. Like the Nasdaq's down over 2.5%, while my portfolio was up 1.5%. So that means to me that the Nasdaq selling off, that money's going somewhere else, and it's going into these other type of names. A theme that I will keep a close pulse on for the rest of the year, because it has a big impact on my portfolio. That being said, to review and conclude, still in sit tight mode, sit tight and hold. Portfolio is at all-time highs, and it got there very quickly. Usually a good time to take some profits. When you're at all-time highs and you got there very quickly, that's why I'm eyeing those names at the top of their all-time highs, thinking about taking some profits. We'll have some updates there for next week. But Coca-Cola earnings is also next week, and I think we might have one or two other names, but we'll have some updates next week. And that's all I got for you.
I don't think I have any other questions, Lex. Do you?
No, I feel like I asked them as we went.
Yeah, me too. All right. My usual, starting with my stats for the week. Cooking Depot, I posted my usual 7 videos. My stats for TikTok were 50,000 views, 1,695 likes, 91 new followers. My follower count is now at 3,927. So numbers wise, those are a little bit lower. It's kind of similar. I forget if it was last week or the week before where it was lower numbers than the week prior, but I wasn't mad about it because of the stats for that individual week video. It's kind of similar for this week. Although 50,000 is less than the 250,000, 220,000 that I've had in weeks past. My videos this week consistently, I was really happy with their individual views. So just some numbers. My first video this week had 6,030 views. Second video had 3,713. Third video had 1,827. Fourth, 5,586. Fifth, 6,526. 692 and 1,158. So all except one were in the thousands. And to have consistent videos like that, I was really pleased with. On Instagram, I had 6,471 accounts reached, 112 likes, 3 new followers for 109 followers in total. And on YouTube, 11,325 views, 203 likes, and 33 new subscribers. So now I'm at 46 subscribers on YouTube. So overall, I'm not mad about any of those numbers. I will say YouTube is kind of weird. Like, I did get a lot of views, but it primarily came from like 2 of the videos. One video had 10,000 ish views, and then one of the other ones had around 1,000, something like that, to make up that 11,000. And some of the other videos, just like we talked about in weeks past, had no views. So it's just so weird how it can go from 0 views to 10,000 views and bounce back and forth on YouTube. I don't know. And then for Mern, I only posted my one video, like I talked about last week. I kind of put Diner Don't off to the side a little bit just because trying to eat better after being away for a while, get back on track in that regard. So I just had one video posted. So for TikTok, over the last 7 days, 1,588 views, 91 likes, 5 new followers. So now I'm at 60. And Instagram, 134 accounts reached, 7 likes, and 1 new follower to beat to 23.
Hold
So
on real
Steph,
quick. I mean,
yeah.
think about how many people that is. Even like just on your Mern account specifically, because that's so much newer. One video, one post in the last week already got in front of 1,500 views. That's
Mhm.
a lot of people to get already. And like 91 likes. That's a lot of conversion already really early on. I think those are really good numbers for Mern stats already.
Yeah.
I
I'm not
mean,
mad about any of the numbers. Yeah.
I really even like I know like obviously YouTube might be confusing, but to be up 33
Yeah, that number's still
subscribers
crazy though.
to be up 33 subscribers in 1 week, like that's
Yeah,
insane.
for sure.
Like
Yeah.
especially off of it just being 2 videos that have those views, like that's insane.
Yeah. For sure.
No doubt.
So just some general update stuff from the week. I do have a question for you guys, and then I'm going to give my answer. Kyle, you're not really going to be able to answer this, but Lex, because Kyle, you don't have TikTok. Do you prefer to scroll on the For You page, or do you prefer to scroll through Reels on Instagram?
For You
Reels.
page.
See,
Reels.
Kyle, you're biased because you don't have TikTok, but my answer,
You're
like,
biased.
you have a reason, Lex?
Honestly, I just I don't like the way that Instagram is set up on viewing videos like that. I like
So,
I like
Fuck TikTok.
I like TikToks better. I
Reels
don't know.
is better.
I also I mean, like I know Seth, he personally loves Instagram Reels. He doesn't go on TikTok. Like he sees everything through the Instagram Reels.
That's because Seth is an adult and a very smart individual.
I am both of those things, and I prefer TikTok. And my reasoning, on Instagram, I find way more that it's people that take someone's video and repost it. And it's annoying because I see the same damn thing 16 times. Where on TikTok, if Grant Cardone posts something, I see his video and I can like his video, and that's it.
There are a lot of troll accounts on Instagram, I'll give you that, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I don't see any of that.
exponentially more on Instagram for me, at least for my algorithm, than it is on TikTok.
Maybe your algo is fucked and you need to work on it.
Well, it's not even that I don't like the videos that come up. It's like good stuff, but I'm like, I already liked this. So why is it showing me it again? And it's just because it's on a different page. It's the same video on someone else's page.
I get it.
Honestly, that would be a great question to get like asking a poll on like the 3 Path Profits like
Dude, I've been doing
Instagram.
polls. I've been doing polls on LinkedIn for cash flow.
Yeah, like
You should do a poll.
I think we should
Polls are
100%
great.
we should 100% do a poll and be like, would you rather watch on Instagram Reels or TikTok.
Polls are just great. It's interesting to see what people think about
Yeah,
shit.
I genuinely want to know what like
I'm
the
gonna
overall
start posting
consensus.
polls all over the place.
Yeah.
You guys might see a poll on my Instagram every day this week.
Yeah, right.
Hey, did you see my poll from yesterday? Yes or no? That's actually hilarious.
Just keep asking that every day.
That's actually hilarious.
I think it's hilarious how hilarious you think you are.
I know.
He cracks himself up.
I know. When I say some funny shit, I really do crack up.
All right, moving on.
All right, so you guys are gonna see those polls.
Another thing that I, listening back to episode 3, was just thinking about, Kyle, I don't know if you Googled this like as we were recording episode 3, but in that episode you said on average it takes a person 47 videos to go viral. I don't know where you got that stat, but that's what you said in that video. So I went back and I counted the number of videos before my bread dipping oil, and my bread dipping oil was my 72nd video, so 72 for me.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. One feature
my stat looks pretty viable there. 47 on average. You might have taken a little longer than average. 47 doesn't look bad.
Yeah. Do you know where you got that number? Did you Google it or did you just make it up?
No. No, I definitely heard it somewhere, but I definitely wasn't 100% accurate. I was probably guessing close to what I remembered it being close to.
Yeah.
Probably saw it on an Instagram reel, not a TikTok. Saw it on an Instagram reel and then remembered it and then said it. Because I watch Instagram reels. Not TikTok for you page.
I'm team
Instagram reels. Way better than for you page.
Oh my gosh. What are you
anyway?
on?
Yeah.
I feel like you're like at my house, how you were on the couch all over again.
Giggly.
He's got the zoomies, like when a dog runs around.
Yeah, like Maybell.
One thing that I noticed this week, it's probably been there for however long, it's just the first time I noticed it. On Instagram, you can schedule to post a reel. So kind of like how I schedule to post our episodes so that I don't have to sit there at 12:59 and hit post at 1 o'clock. I haven't done that feature because I have my little routine where I just go through and I post on TikTok, then I post on Instagram. I like do it in a certain order. But I thought that was cool just to note that you can schedule to post reels on Instagram. I completed a whole bunch of tasks. So I only put one thing in my little list and then I kind of broke it out in different sections. But the one thing I have on my list for tasks completed, I said I wanted to post a TikTok shop link video, which I did this week. I posted it anyways, even though I saw before posting the video that there was only 6 of that item in stock. I posted it because, like, what are the chances that I even get one, let alone all 6? Because I haven't had any bites yet, so I still did it anyways. And I didn't have any bites.
That's the quantity over quality mentality that I've been talking about. Fuck yeah, just fucking post it. Because why the fuck not? It's an experiment.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
But something happened with when it linked it, because normally when you link something in the TikTok shop, it has like a orange button that you can press right above the username when you're watching the video. And for whatever reason, that didn't show up. So nobody could click the link anyways. And I didn't post any more TikTok shop links besides that one. I need to do one of two things. I either need to order more stuff off of TikTok shop to review them, or just kind of brainstorm the different stuff that I have in my kitchen and then research to see if I can find similar stuff on TikTok Shop so that I can use those in videos as well. So one of those two things I'll need to do so that I can make more TikTok Shop videos. Some updates with Facebook. So I figured out that while I'm creating my reel to post on Instagram, using the feature at the bottom where it says also post to Facebook, which is not what I was doing before, I turned that on, even though on my phone, my Facebook app is logged into my personal Facebook. That's why I was worried about doing that it would go to my personal Facebook, but it knows that it's connected to my Cooking Depot Facebook. So I did that and it automatically went to Facebook, which is great, but it automatically goes to the Facebook profile, not the Facebook page. And those are two different things. The page is within the profile, but the page is the one that has the insights, the analytics, the stuff that content creators want to see. So I need
So
it
the
to go to
page
the
is better for you than the
yes.
profile, right?
Yes. So it worked and the hashtag showed up and all that fun stuff, but I can't see any of the analytics on it because it's not on the page. So my thought to fixing that problem is potentially to just log out of my personal on my phone and just log into my Cooking Depot Facebook on my app so that I can just post directly to. I wouldn't be able to use the Instagram feature. I would just also have to go to Facebook and post it. But I quite frankly, I don't want to have to do that. So I'm also just
So
toying
you're
with
telling
that.
me you can't share to Facebook and get it to the page from Instagram.
No, it goes
Well,
right to the profile.
regardless, you can have multiple accounts on your Facebook app. I do.
Yeah, I do too.
It won't let me. Whenever I hit add account, it only shows me 3Path Profits or Mern. It doesn't show me Cooking Depot. So
Did you try turning it off and turning it back on again?
Or
it does tend to solve all IT problems, but I don't think that will solve this one.
Or
Honestly,
you could
though,
log out of your personal one, log back in, and then try to add your Cooking Depot, or vice versa. Log into Cooking Depot and try to add your personal that way.
two issues with that. One, I really just don't want to do that. And two, I don't know what my password is for my personal. So I got a lot going on without Facebook. So for right now, I'm really toying with just tabling Facebook. I've added YouTube to the mix. So that's something
I
in
was gonna
itself.
say I'm so okay with you tabling Facebook
Yeah.
because you got YouTube on the
Yeah.
deck here.
And I'd say at
Yeah.
this point, YouTube is bringing in a good enough
Yeah.
of stats that it's like put Facebook on the back burner right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then once I get to a point where I want to add another layer, then I'll resume back to the whole Facebook stuff.
I think YouTube might be your best platform long term.
Very possible for sure.
So YouTube's exciting.
And then the next thing that I want to do this screen share thing and just show you kind of YouTube Studio.
Ooh.
Heck yeah.
See if I can figure this out.
Come on, Miss Math teacher.
Screen share
I'm gonna-
moment.
I'm going to do entire screen and then can you see what I'm looking at? Because I can't see you guys now.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
we can see your whole screen.
Okay. I gotta remember how to get here. So YouTube Studio, I actually really like, and I don't know if it's just because it's on desktop compared to being on my phone, but I feel like there's so many things on here. So on the main page, it shows you all this fun stuff. Latest
48
comment.
current subscribers.
Hell
Yeah, so
yeah.
that's even up from whenever I put the stats on this morning.
Holy
And then
shit.
like there's
Was that
all these
33 this morning?
I had yeah. So like you can go in here and look at each individual short views, comments. When you click on analytics, it shows you where did I find like there was, oh yeah, here. So it'll even show you the breakdown of like female to male that are watching your stuff, each age bracket. And then there was somewhere
That's
that
so.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
really
and
cool.
there was somewhere that I saw even where they were from. Yeah, here, look. So it'll show like it's from the United States, from Canada, United Kingdom, and then you can even see like cities within those. So
Damn, that's
like
cool.
London, New York, Chicago. Like it shows you the actual city that they're in. There's just so many things you can do with this. There's so many different stats you can look at. By far, I think this has more information than any of the other analytic platforms on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, all of them.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd say it's probably because they're the longest standing
For
video
sure.
platform to date.
Age ranges.
Yeah, before TikTok came out, you would have been solely on YouTube with
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
type of content.
Yeah. So
That's
it's
still
just,
really cool.
yeah. Now I got to get back to you guys. Okay. So yeah, I really like YouTube Studio. I want to play around with it more, get more familiar with it. That's just what I played around with so far.
So the last 7 days on YouTube, you posted all the 7 videos on
Mhm.
YouTube, right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
For some brand deal updates, I sent 3 emails to 2 new brands, and then the one follow-up email that we talked about last week. And the follow-up email that I sent, she emailed me back right away, and it was literally the exact same message that I got previously. Like, thanks, we passed your information along. They'll reach out if they want to work with you, kind of thing. And then one of the other 2 emails with a new brand, I got their email off of their website. And as soon as I sent it, it said undeliverable. And on their website, they had a couple of different emails that you could pick from. It was like customer support, partnerships, etc. And I obviously picked the partnerships one, and it didn't work. So then I used the customer support email and emailed them. So then they got back to me with the correct email. And so then I emailed the correct one. So 2 new brands that I sent emails to. One of the 2 I got a response from. So in that response, there was 2 different forms that you could fill out. There was a partnership request form or an ambassador program form. And it says that if you have less than 10,000 followers, they're not accepting the partnership requests anyways. Like, you can fill out the form, but if you don't have 10,000 followers, you're not going to get anything. But if you have less than 10,000, they suggest doing the ambassador program, which that form was super easy to fill out. They just asked like my name, where I live, what my handles are, and like 1 or 2 other things. I forget what the other ones were. So I filled that out. Haven't heard anything back yet from that, but I'm excited about that. And while I was doing this, I made a Google Sheet just to keep myself organized of what brands I've contacted, how I've contacted them, whether it be email, Instagram, DM, etc. What day I emailed them, if I got a response, what day I got a response from, and then I just have a little notes category kind of to jot down what the communication was between us, if any. So I've contacted in total 6 brands, and out of the 6, I've gotten responses from 2. So I think that's a pretty good ratio there. And then obviously haven't had anything after that one response with the first brand, but I'm hoping the second response that I just got this past week with me filling out that ambassador program, I hope to continue through the process with that. I have actually gotten quite a few spam emails trying to get me to be partnership with different brands. So if anyone's listening that is also doing this kind of thing, just be careful when you get those emails to look at what the email address actually is that it's being sent from. And one of them looked like a somewhat reasonable email address. You just need to
Yeah, the
go and
phishing,
you need to
they
do your
can
due
look so
diligence.
real.
Yeah, you need to go to their website, figure out what their email actually should be before you click on any links that is in the email, before you do anything with the email, because I've had quite a few this week. I think there's 5 in total that I had that were for sure spam.
Yeah, you got to be really careful with those because,
Yeah.
again, like Kyle said, they can look so real,
Yeah,
and it's scary how quickly it can get you.
for sure. And like someone like myself that's just starting out that really would like their first brand deal, you might want to be excited and
Yeah,
just click on it because you're excited, and then you're getting yourself in a
very
load of shit.
vulnerable.
Yeah. So, but that's all I got for brand deal stuff. A side note, this really doesn't have anything to do with Cooking Depot specifically. I do this kind of thing for Cooking Depot and for 3 Path Profit stuff. You could do this for whatever. Canva, when you're going to create a design, what I've noticed the really cool feature that you can do when you hit create, you can type in the search bar literally any kind of thing you want to make. So, for example, when I went to make my YouTube banner, you type in YouTube banner and it makes the design the exact size that it needs to be for a YouTube banner. Or
That's sick.
Yeah, that's
you
cool.
can do a YouTube thumbnail. You can type in YouTube thumbnail and it makes the exact size design that you need so you know where stuff can fit, kind of thing. So I thought that was just a really cool feature to note for anyone in the creating world. Some stuff that I want to do this upcoming week. I made myself a little goal to just email at least one brand per week. Obviously, if I do more, great. Like this past week, I did 3. But I'm setting myself a minimum to find at least one brand. I actually sent 4 this week.
I know
I
we
forgot
kind
to
of touched on this in the past, but are you, for that one brand per week, are you choosing anyone or are you choosing people that you genuinely want to have a brand deal with?
Yeah, I definitely did send 4. I totally forgot to update it yesterday once I did that. But to answer your question, I've 2 kind of criteria that I've been using to choose my brands. The first one is smaller brands because I'm a smaller page. Actually, Layla Hormosi was the one that I saw talk about this when she gets requests from people asking her to be their mentor. She said something along the lines of, if you're a if I'm a 10 and you're a 3, it's just not going to work. Like you have to be kind of within the same ballpark to work with each other. So I'm kind of going along with that, where I'm not trying to work with like Walmart yet, or Walmart's a huge company, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to work with smaller brands. That's my first criteria. And the second one is brands that I genuinely like. It's brands that I already buy their stuff, that I genuinely like and would love to promote. So far, at least. I'll run out of those eventually, and I'll have to explore outside of
I don't
that.
think you will. I think there will be a plenty.
Yeah,
There's so many brands out there.
I mean, even
there are. Yeah,
trying new brands. I mean, it's not like you can always
yeah,
reach out, try it, and if you don't like it, then there you go.
yeah. And then the next thing that I want to do, another thing from listening back to episode 3 that we posted this week, Lex made a suggestion to caption it, tag someone you'd want to cook this with, which I just posted that video today. So I technically can take it off my to-do list, I guess. But stats wise, that'll be in next week's video. My goals, I'm keeping the same. We added that 3rd one last week. Make the first dollar, 10,000 followers on TikTok, and the first brand deal. You guys got anything for me before I shout myself out?
I think I kind of asked all my questions along the way.
Yeah, I do. I think you can leverage LinkedIn a little bit too. I don't want to add more on your plate, but like that lady who you emailed and got the same response, automated response back. You could look her up on LinkedIn, connect with her on LinkedIn, send her a message that way. I think LinkedIn's another untapped resource that, especially as you start to try to find brands and start interact with people more on a business sense and represent yourself as a business, LinkedIn is a good resource for that.
So use my personal LinkedIn, like my name, to connect with them, or do I make a
Do
Cook and
both.
Depot?
Both.
Okay.
Like right now, Cashflow has its own page, and I have my own page. I post from Cashflow's page, I post from my page, and I repost Cashflow stuff on my page.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
Something to keep in mind, play around with it. Even
Yeah.
just on your personal page, just go and like look up. You'll be surprised of how social media centered LinkedIn is. I know this is a Gary V take, so I won't claim novelty for it, but I think LinkedIn is the social media of the next 10 years. It's a social media that is focused around and has an ethos of business centric and at least a semi formal structure at best, where all like minded, not like minded, but people are in that ecosystem for business and networking and all of those type of like-minded activities, and that's means everyone's there to make money in one way or some way or another, whether they're
Yeah.
trying to employ you, sell you something, market something to you, just connect with you, whatever. Because that is the intention of everyone when they sign up. You're either signing up for LinkedIn to try to get a job, try to hire somebody, try to sell something, or try to purchase something.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it. And that transactional intent is, I think, what's going to be really popular moving forward as so many people are creating their own personal brands, people are creating their own small businesses, and it is just the social media of the business workplace, and I
Yeah.
think that's not going anywhere anytime soon. And I think there is an important distinction of work and life balance, and I think LinkedIn kind of rides that line pretty, they go on that tightrope pretty well, because on LinkedIn, you're still friends and connections with a bunch of family members and people, all your friends and stuff too. But it's also like business connections and it's business focused and it's business centric. So I think it's a really cool resource. I think you should check it out.
Definitely will do that. You got anything else, or was that the only one?
That was it.
Okay. Then my social media where you can find me: Instagram, TikTok, cookin.depot, cooking without the G, cookin.depot. And then my YouTube is just Cookin Depot. There's no dot, but still cooking without the G. And Instagram and TikTok, Mern, MERN _. Mern is my nickname. And that's all I got.
Alrighty. So that does it for today's episode of Three Path Profits podcast. We want to thank you guys for listening and encourage you to leave comments or questions to help us improve moving forward. We'll be posting episodes every Friday, so stay tuned and make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any episodes or important updates. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please tell a friend or family member you think would enjoy. And also please sure to check out our social media pages, TikTok and Instagram at 3.path.profits. We appreciate your guys' support, and we'll catch you next week. Peace.